Hey, how's it going? This is Josh from Books by Josh, and this is episode number 57 of the Books by Josh audio immersion. This episode is titled World of Subscriptions. So let's get started. Well, I don't know if you noticed this, but the world is turning into a subscription based world. What do I mean by that? Well, every single company out there is turning their business into a subscription based model. What is a subscription based model? Well, you pay monthly for the service. Prime example of this would be the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite. You pay $10 for Premiere, $10 for Adobe Audition, $10 for Photoshop, $10 for Lightroom, as opposed to before you'll pay a one-time fee for the license for each product. I know what you might be thinking, hey, isn't that cheaper? I don't use Lightroom, but I do use Photoshop, so I should just pay for that. Well, if you're using it, you're paying $10 a month and it adds up. So in the long run, you're actually paying more. And the subscription-based model generates more income for these businesses, which is why they started charging subscription-based. Let's look at internet radio. Back in the day, there was Pandora and Slacker, and all they offered for like $3 a month on Pandora's was ad-free listening and free skips. And this is back when people still bought music to put on their iPods or their phones. And then Spotify came from Europe and said, hey, America, we're Spotify and we have the same thing as Pandora, but you can make playlists. But you can't listen to those exact songs on your mobile in whatever order. You can't listen to that exact song unless you're premium. So it's $10 a month. You go premium and you get unlimited shuffles, ad-free. But you can listen to whatever songs you like and download your music offline. Thus began the real subscription thing. Of course, in 2006, Netflix started their DVD service, so that's when I started Netflix. And that was subscription-based also, but they went to streaming because it was failing. And it just became bigger as a streaming service than it was as a DVD rental. And because of that, things such as Amazon Prime Video came about. And also Hulu, the TV. And then now, Disney's getting in the game. Apple's getting in the game because it generates such an absurd amount of income. We live in an age that people are cutting the cord, cutting cable. We don't need cable anymore. I can watch things online. You can do YouTube TV, Fubo TV. I can get antenna, HBO Go, or HBO Now, whatever the HBO subscription service is. You can even get DirecTV internet only plan with DirecTV Now. And we think it's cheaper, but when you add up all the subscription-based services we have, it comes out to be more than actual cable. And Android Central was talking about that about 2 weeks ago on the post, because it's real. Subscription-based services are taking over everything. My personal first subscription-based service was the New York Times in my sophomore year of high school. I signed up for it. And I told you, junior year of high school, I had Netflix. So I've been paying subscriptions for years. It's like a gym membership. That's a subscription. Think about it. You can buy weights. My dumbbell set alone costs $500. My Wielder Total Gym or Ultimate Body Works was like $150. My bench was $300 with the bar and the weights. And sure, the initial price is gonna be about $1,000, but that's one time. These weights, that bench I've had since 2004, still works great. It's 15 years. So $300 for the bench and the bar and the weights, compared to going to a gym. Planet Fitness is what, $12? 12 times 12 is 145. 144. In 15 years, that's a lot more than 300. In 3 years, you already passed the $300 mark. In 2 years, it's 288. So, as you can see, they make money off their subscriptions. And honestly, they don't expect you to cancel because it's automatically coming out of your account most of the time. Automatic payment. It comes out of your account. You're so accustomed to seeing it that you don't realize it. And Planet Fitness, back to them, they actually require your bank account because people putting on the card will cancel. So they make it a hassle to cancel your subscription because they're banking on you not going to the gym to make money. That's how they make money. And that's the thing with subscription-based models. Another subscription-based model, we're in the digital age, as we all know. And if you read magazines, more likely it won't be a print magazine subscription. And honestly, I don't fault you. I paid for GQ years ago for 3 years subscription. I got a deal for like $12. So that's basically 30 cents an issue. And it was great. But then when I started doing digital, you buy one magazine, it's like $6 for Money on Entrepreneur. And then the subscription is only $3 a month, so you save $2 or $3 each month. But the thing is, you're going to constantly be buying it. And the first entrepreneur magazine I bought was a Gary Vaynerchuk one. And it was because he was on it that I wanted to support him somehow. I know he already got paid, but that's besides the point. And I've read it for some time, and then I'm paying it monthly. I realized, hey, I'm not reading it anymore. I'm doing other things, and I don't have time to sit and read the magazine. Sure, I canceled it, but I paid more than I would have actually for the magazines I read. And Apple said, you know what, $10 a month, and you get unlimited access to all these magazines we offer in our partnership, which was amazing, and I had that for months too. And I stopped reading magazines. I'd rather read a book than a magazine. So that's how the magazines are. And let's go back on the topic of music streaming. Sure, you have Apple Music, Spotify, you have Slacker still, you have Pandora for some reason, you have Google Play Music, and then you have like Tidal. Mind you, at one point I had Google Play Music, Tidal, and Spotify all at the same time, premium. And it just becomes overwhelming when you sit down and actually do a budget and you're like, wow, I'm paying for all this. And we don't even realize some of the subscriptions that we're paying for. Cloud-based storage. iCloud Drive, you get 5 gigs free. That's great. And I pay, like $1 for 50 gigs? And you don't need it, but it's good to have to back up your stuff. Mind you, I have Google Drive, I have Bots, I have Dropbox. But because I use an Apple iPhone, a Mac, and an iPad and all this, I need iCloud Drive to back up my contacts to the cloud if I use it, but it's mostly for like my texts. And we're becoming reliant on subscription-based services. And it's costing us more. We have Apple Arcade now. And it's a great idea if you're going to play all those games at the price. But the thing is, how many games can you actually play? And how long will you play them for? Because whenever you get a shiny new toy, you're going to play with it for a couple days, and then you're going to sit aside and forget about it. And you're just going to get billed and billed and billed. I understand if you have kids, but that's not what I'm getting at here. I'm talking about you, the adult, teenager, college student, whoever's listening, that's not where you as a person, not your kids. And that goes to the new iPhone just released, and they offered Apple Care as a subscription-based service. We know now that instead of doing subsidized phones, they do financing of the phone at the full retail price, which is not subscription-based service because you're just dividing what the phone costs over a certain amount of months. But when you look at Apple Care, it tells you how much Apple Care is normally, and then if you do the math, if you do the subscription-based Apple Care, because you don't pay one time for the Apple Care, you're paying about $50 to $60 more. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but that's crazy. They're charging you more for financing Apple Care. Plus tax. So it turns out to be a lot more, about $80 more, let's say, because you didn't pay upfront for it. And since people see the number, hey, it's only like $8, $9 a month, I could do that. They're like, wow, $9 a month. It's a steal. But at the end of it, you're paying about $80 more after taxes. And you don't realize that because it seems so minute in the beginning. It's the same paying monthly for Amazon Prime as opposed to paying the one lump sum for Amazon Prime, which is I think 120 or 140 now. Every month it's about $15, 14. So you're gonna pay more if you don't do the math. And that's the thing with these subscription based services. We don't realize that it costs more in the long run than buying the software. In certain apps, we might think, hey, it's okay, I can pay $2 a month. Like there's a note taking app for macOS and iOS called Bear, which is like $3 a month to $5 depending on what features you get. Which all the features are like, wow, it's a great deal, but notability. I paid $15 for the iOS version, $15 for the Mac version, $30, and guess what? It's mine for life. I've been using notability on my iPad and iPhone since 2010, 2011. So that right there is about 8 years of usage. Way cheaper than, even if Bear was $3 a month, 3 times 12 is $36 right there. Both apps, $30. Lifetime. And companies are going away from that because they're trying to generate income. And once somebody buys the software, they're like, I don't need to update the software. There's people still using the old Final Cut Pro. Before Final Cut Pro X, they were using the old Final Cut. And Apple discontinued the service and released a new one and made it incompatible with newer CPUs. But that's the whole thing. When you find a software that works, you don't have to upgrade. Unless you want a certain feature, such as the old Lightroom and Photoshop worked with certain cameras and certain RAW files, and your cameras changed to RAW file type, couldn't be read. Now you have to go in Creative Cloud. And another thing is, if you look at Microsoft Office was revolutionary when it came out and put Microsoft on the map. It wasn't Windows that made Microsoft the money. It was Office. When they released it, they offered Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. 3 applications in a bundle for about $200. And back then you had to buy each thing separate. Word Perfect, you had to buy a spreadsheet app and a slideshow app. Each over $100. That's how Microsoft made money. But then Microsoft saw something. People were still using Word 2003 and 2007. That's why they introduced DOCX in the 2007 version to break compatibility with 2003. But Word, all these Office suites, because it's a 32-bit app, you can use it even in Windows 10. Even though it originally came out for Windows XP. Because it works. But guess what? Microsoft is like, wait, we're sending these apps for $150. That's great. But there's people out there using it for 10, 15 years. And why don't we charge monthly? And guess what? Office 365, guys. That's literally the birth of Office 365. A subscription-based Microsoft Office. And it costs way more in 1 year. Office 365 is basically $130 after tax. Sure, you get all this cloud and stuff like that. You can manually save to the cloud. OneDrive, everything like that. But they used to charge you $150 for 3 softwares. $150 for that's it's a subscription-based model, and you're paying basically the same thing in a year and a half that you were paid at one time and own the software. On my own MacBook, my original MacBook from 2007, I had Office 2008, which my friend was still using till about 2 years ago. In 2017, 9 years of use. I know people that still have Office 2003. I love Office 2007 on my machine. I still have it on my desktop, but that's the whole thing. They promise continuous updates and everything like that, but at what cost to charge you the same amount in a year and a half, and then you're just paying more and more into it just to get 1 or 2 new features that might never come. Which is why I stick to, when buying applications, I stick to apps that are one-time purchase, like Scrivener. Scrivener $365. Or $85 for Mac and PC. Then $20 for the mobile. So one-time purchase, and it'll be cheaper in the long run. That's the whole thing. Sure, it's nice to have HBO Stars, Showtime, Cinemax, Hulu, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, all these subscription-based services, but honestly, look at it and do the math. there's alternatives that might be better for you. You can use the Roku app or Vudu app. Free. They offer free movies and TV series update every month with ads. You have, it's like paying for cloud storage for iCloud for your photos. If you take a lot of photos, well, you could do Google Photos for free photo uploads up to about 12 megapixel photos. So they get downscaled. And video. Video gets downscaled to megapixels. But that's the whole thing, guys. What's the real cost of subscriptions? Think about that. And you don't actually own any of the stuff. So, with my subscription that I was paying for Entrepreneur on Google Play Newsstand, I own a digital copy of the magazines, right? The Apple subscription, which had all those magazines, I stopped paying. Guess what? I lost access to the months I had access to. And sure, you don't have to pay per song $1 or whatever, $12 an album, $10 an album. But guess what? You can't afford the subscription that 1 month because you're on a budget. You have no music other than radio with ads. What's the cost of subscriptions? It's the cost of ownership. Everything's digital. Even Amazon Kindle Unlimited is $10 a month to read books. Sure, it's cheaper than buying all the books, but guess what? Like I said, you don't pay for it, you don't play. And that's it for this episode of Books by Josh Audio Immersion. I know I went off on a rant, but subscription-based services are hurting us more than they're helping us. If you enjoyed this, you know what to do. Leave a like, share this with a friend, or just send me a message on my site. Let me know what you think about what I'm doing. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.